The full moon cast a soft, silver light on the quiet street, illuminating the dancing leaves of the oak trees that lined the sidewalk. Kai, a young and curious cat, ventured out for his nightly stroll, his paws patting softly on the cool pavement. As he rounded the corner, he spotted a strange sight. A shadowy figure huddled in the moonlight, their back against a weathered brick wall. The figure seemed lost in thought, oblivious to the world around them. Kai's curiosity piqued. He crept closer, his fur blending seamlessly with the shadows that surrounded him. As he drew nearer, he noticed the stranger was a cat, similar in size and age, but with tattered fur and weary eyes. The stranger's eyes held a deep sadness, a stark contrast to the peaceful moonlit scene that surrounded them. Kai's natural curiosity transformed into empathy. He had never seen a fellow cat in such a state of despair. His heart aching, he mustered the courage to speak. "Hello, new friend. It seems like you're carrying a heavy burden. Would you like to share it with someone who might understand?" The stranger, startled by the sudden sound of Kai's gentle voice, jumped, then turned to face him. Recognition flickered in their eyes as they took in Kai's sincere expression. Slowly, they nodded, and in a soft, weary voice, began to speak. I used to have a home and a family who loved me, but things changed. They didn't want me anymore. I tried to find a new home, but every door I knocked on was closed in my face. I've been living on the streets for weeks now, scavenging for food and hiding from the world." Tears welled up in the stranger's eyes, and their voice trembled with suppressed emotion. Kai listened, his heart heavy with compassion. He knew what it felt like to be alone and unwanted. He had once wandered the streets himself before finding his own loving family. He couldn't bear to see another cat suffer the same fate. "I can't imagine how hard that must have been for you," Kai said, his voice gentle and soothing. "But you know what? You're not alone anymore. I'll help you. We'll find a way out of this together." The stranger looked at Kai, disbelief and hope warring in their eyes. Slowly, the weight of their burden seemed to lift, replaced by a fragile trust. They nodded, and with a small smile, whispered, "Thank you, Kai. Thank you for seeing me in the shadows." Together, Kai and the stranger ventured through the moonlit streets, their paws in sync as they forged a new path. They found a warm, safe place to rest, and Kai shared his food with the grateful stranger. As they curled up to sleep, the stranger's eyes finally held a glimmer of hope. The next morning, Kai introduced the stranger to his family, who welcomed the newcomer with open arms and purrs of acceptance. With their love and support, the stranger's tattered fur began to grow sleek again, and the sadness in their eyes slowly faded, replaced by a growing sense of belonging. As the weeks passed, Kai and the stranger, now named Luna, grew closer, their bond forged by the shared experience of loneliness and the warmth of the love they had found. The moon continued to rise and fall, casting its silvery glow on the street where their paths had first crossed. And as Kai and Luna curled up together in their warm, safe home, they would look up at the moonlit sky, remembering the night when a stranger's shadow in the moonlight had led to the most meaningful of friendships. The moral of this story is that even in the darkest of times, when we feel lost and alone, there is always hope. A kind word, a gentle touch, or a simple act of compassion can light the way for someone who feels lost in the shadows. And sometimes, the most unlikely of encounters can lead to the most meaningful of connections. Remember to always see the light in others, even when it's hidden in the shadows, for it may be the light that guides them back to hope and happiness.